Good morning, Gloria Brooks here. I'm founder of Nature Glow's eScience. So today I want to share with you that my Math Learning Secrets Guide is soon to be released to the homeschool community. Hooray! Do-do-do-do! Horns and whistles and bells. It's the holiday season, so I should have bells on my hands and feet. So super excited. This is for the past 17 years, I have developed my Math Secrets learning system, and I will be sharing 5 key secrets. It doesn't seem like that many, but these are major pillars in my math learning system that I will be sharing with you in this new e-guide. I'm calling it, it's a guide. All right. So, and who is this guide for? It is for homeschoolers. All right. And what style homeschoolers is this guide most useful for or best suited for? That's a really good question. I could say all homeschoolers, but there's a caveat here. I would say homeschoolers that are really open and willing to stray from typical math learning, because it does feature my math art program, which is it's a year-long program where kids get connected to nature more. They see math patterns in nature, and they also learn the history of maths. The backbone of my math art program is math history, which is not typically taught in a traditional math education. So traditional math education is focused primarily on computation, the nuts and bolts, and it's done in incremental, step by step. And if you miss a step, like you can't, it's like you have to, you're lockstep into this system that if you miss certain pieces of mathematics, you won't be able to do other pieces. So it's pretty rigid. But my program, Game School, primarily encourages game schooling math so that the kids, they get the basics. I'm a proponent of getting the basics of maths, but I'm not a proponent of shoving 12 long years of math down kids' throats and homeschool families' throats. And that's what they do in our K through 12 education system, typically in public and in private schools as well. What I'm a proponent of is liberating maths. What does liberating maths mean? It means enjoying the beauty, the wonder of maths found everywhere around us. So my guide will help you liberate both you as the adult in your household, help liberate you and your kids to fall in love with and enjoy math. And this program is especially great for people that have math phobias and math anxiety, because it will help you. And this is what it did for me. Like, I'm my number one customer for what the Math Learning Secrets system has done for me. And little story here of how this came to be. When I was, it was the year after I graduated college, and I had already completed my first year of teaching in private school in Baltimore City. I was teaching at a school for underprivileged youth. We had 12 students that year, and I taught my first year. I actually taught Bible in that school. I don't actually subscribe to any faith right now, just for the record. I am all-encompassing now. I believe people choose whatever faith they choose, and I happen to just choose spirituality without any labels for at this point in my life. Transparency there. So anyways, I was teaching at this private school, and I had finished teaching that year I had started the elementary division of that school. Long story short, it flopped for me that year. It was really awful. I didn't know how to deal with troubled youth. I just didn't have the tools or the bandwidth, and I ended up burning right out that year and felt like a miserable failure. Like, just felt like a loser of losers. But that following summer, I ended up getting a job at an easier situation for a new teacher, and it had a renaissance the following year. But anyway, so that summer, after I had taught at the Baltimore Academy of Excellence, BAE as we lovingly called it, I was at a church rummage sale. It was at the church I was attending at the time. And there was a missionary that had a bookstore. Pastor, what was his name? He had a bald head. It'll come to me one of these days. It's like 26 years ago. Anyways, he was selling these books. So I was browsing through his book sale, his book rummage sale, as I call it. Who uses that word anymore? Rummage sale. Okay, so I was browsing through books, and I picked up this Time Life book. This is really like epic. And I opened it up. It was called Mathematics. It was this blue hardcover beat up book. And I bought it for like 20 cents or 25 cents or something. And I open up, I thumb through it, and I see all these beautiful illustrations. And actually, if you go online, go to like Amazon and look through that book, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But that book had these remarkable illustrations of mathematics found in the chambered nautilus, spirals found in the seed head of daisies and sunflowers. And here was this mathematical relationship I had never been introduced my entire education, from primary all the way to college. I had never heard of any of this. And my eyeballs just like about fell out of my face. I just was like in awe. And so this book was such a treasure. I think I actually donated that book because, now I live in a camper van and I just can't haul books around. That's one book I wished I had kept. I may actually rebuy that on Amazon. But it introduced me to living math, what I now dub as math art, but math found everywhere around us, from architecture to, and it also brought up the golden ratio, which is 1.618. It's a proportion of beauty, a very famous proportion of beauty that mathematicians, scientists just go crazy over. Now the internet has exploded with information all about it. So it has been found in ancient Greek architecture, like the Parthenon has been found to be within the golden proportion. Leonardo da Vinci's famous paintings like the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper are two of the most famed paintings for exhibiting the golden ratio. And the book also introduced me to Fibonacci numbers, which has a very close relationship with the golden ratio. And the Fibonacci numbers is a sequence starting with 0, 1. What's 0 plus 1? You got it, 1. What's 1 plus 2? You got it, 3. What's 2 plus 3? And you add the numbers, they call them subsequent numbers, you add them together to get the next number. And they're infinite. They're irrational numbers. So I was totally inspired. So I brought the book home, and then I tried to do some research. And I found very little information. I scoured libraries. Like, I took a couple of months to see what I could find. And I ended up finding similar type books at thrift stores. And libraries had some old books, but they were all old, like from the 50s and 60s. And it's just kind of interesting that there just wasn't that much information. So I ended up buying these posters online that were exhibiting nature's patterns. And that was like the last thing I could find. I was so frustrated, so sad. And then I gave up my search for many years. Until one day in 2003, when I was teaching in Newark, Delaware. We had a health and wellness teacher called Don Tolman, who you can still find on the internet. He's looks like a cowboy with a black mustache. He's really, really adorable. He's like this brilliant, brilliant health and wellness teacher, but he also teaches holistic education. So when he started opening his mouth to teach, he was talking about the golden ratio used in the proportions of his health food that he was selling called Pulse. And Pulse has this mysterious story behind it as well. He was a curator at museums, and he was allowed access to ancient documents, and he found the recipe of Pulse. It's an interesting story, and it includes the golden ratio, the proportions of the raw fruits, grains, nuts, and legumes. He puts it in proportion to 1.618. It's very interesting and fascinating. So when he brought up the golden ratio, my ears perked up. But he didn't stop there. He also talked about nature's patterns, and he talked about ancient civilizations and their use of the living math. So the living math found me. I was a burned out teacher in my near the end of my 20s, and this was my second renaissance of getting back to nature, looking. And so after his seminars, I was outdoors for 7 years straight. I was like photographing patterns in nature. I had my journal with me. I was making connections with math and history and art and technology, and just this incredible renaissance that, spills over into my life today. And I am happy to present it to you in a 38-page, boiled down, concise. So 17 years of my trials and error boiled down in this 38-page guide for you, which I will be releasing very soon. So keep an eye out. I will be doing daily lives until I release the guide. I'm the only one right now working for my company, so everything takes I'm doing 5 people's jobs. So it just takes, I'm still tweaking things. I released it to a private group to see if everything is working properly. Still needs some work, so I'll just keep talking about it and let you know when it is released. Okay, so keep an eye out. If you want to get on my wait list, click the link for the unit study planner. Unit studies is one of the things that I incorporate in my in the Math Learning Secrets guide. So grab that, and that will place you on my wait list, and you will be one of the first. You'll be the first to hear when I release Math Learning Secrets. All right, so jump on that, get that free download there on my website, and you can see what Nature Glows eScience is about from that website. And also hit subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't already. Click the bell so that you can hear when my videos are coming out, and you'll also be the first to hear when Math Learning Secrets comes out. Scroll down, throw down a comment, share your thoughts about what I have talked about today. I would love to hear them. I love to hear from you homeschoolers. All right, thanks for watching. Grab your free unit study planner, click the link, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.